everyone, welcome to Daily Dictation. This is an interactive video to help you practice your English skills. I am going to be reading 5 sentences about the topic of hobbies, more specifically about sports. You will write down each sentence exactly how you hear it in order to improve your listening and your writing. So this is a skill that's best developed if we practice every day. So there's new sentences each weekday, new topics each week, and 2 English levels offered. Instructions: you will need a blank piece of paper and a pencil. 5 sentences will be read. Each sentence will be read 3 times and 1 more time at the end. You have to write down each sentence exactly how you hear it, and you will use your listening skills to do this. Try your best to apply the correct spelling, punctuation, and capitalization to each sentence. You're going to see on the screen there's numbers 1 to 5. Each number represents a different sentence. We're going to start with sentence number 1. Number 1. The team worked hard on their technique and their endurance. The team worked hard on their technique and their endurance. The team worked hard on their technique and their endurance. Number 2. The coach recognized her athleticism and gave her more challenging tasks to test her agility. The coach recognized her athleticism and gave her more challenging tasks to test her agility. The coach recognized her athleticism and gave her more challenging tasks to test her agility. Number 3. The players relied on him to take the crucial penalty kick because he was known for his precision. The players relied on him to take the crucial penalty kick because he was known for his precision. The players relied on him to take the crucial penalty kick because he was known for his precision. Number 4. Though the team had all the right equipment, they realized that improving their strategy was necessary to win. Though the team had all the right equipment, they realized that improving their strategy was necessary to win. Though the team had all the right equipment, they realized that improving their strategy was necessary to win. Number 5. He focused on building his stamina for future games. He focused on building his stamina for future games. He focused on building his stamina for future games. All right, I'm going to read each sentence one more time, starting with sentence number 1. The team worked hard on their technique and their endurance. Number 2. The coach recognized her athleticism and gave her more challenging tasks to test her agility. Number 3. The players relied on him to take the crucial penalty kick because he was known for his precision. Number 4. Though the team had all the right equipment, they realized that improving their strategy was necessary to win. Number 5. He focused on building his stamina for future games. And that's all of the sentences for today. Let's get ready to check our answers. If you found that this video was a little bit too fast, you can listen again. When you listen again, you can adjust the playback speed to make it go slower if it was too fast. If you need to listen to specific sentences again, just check the description for timestamps, and this will help you listen to specific sentence numbers again. Let's have a look at our answers. We're going to start with number 1. The team worked hard on their technique and their endurance. So here's a few things about this. Let's just break it down. The team is the subject, and worked is the verb. And it tells us more information. What were they working hard on? So worked on and work hard on. These 2 or 3 words often go together. So work on or work hard on often go together. It's a common collocation, which is in English 2 words or 3 words that come together really, really often. Another example is pay attention. These 2 words come together all of the time. Spend time is another example. Now we have 2 possessive adjectives to show the team as individuals. So there's many people in a team. So we're using the subject they. Their technique and their endurance. So this is a subject or the possessive adjective for they. Difficult spelling, technique, and endurance. These are both pretty long words. Technique is especially hard because it doesn't follow the phonetic structure of the phonetic sounds. So usually we have a CH that makes a ch sound, but today it's making a K sound. Ni makes the same sound as it would phonetically in any other word. But this one, it's technique. So it sounds like another K here. So it's kind of tricky. So to remember the spelling, I say technique way. And that really helps with the spelling, especially to remember this E at the end too. Endurance is another tricky one for spelling. Endurance, you just split it up like that. Now let's look at number 2. The coach recognized her athleticism and gave her more challenging tasks to test her agility. First of all, we don't need a comma because this part and this part are very, very closely related. So they're part of one thought or one idea. So we don't need any comma to separate them. The coach is the subject. Recognized is the verb. Her athleticism is the object. Then we have and so we're getting more information here, but the same thought, like I said, so no use for any comma here. More challenging tasks to test her agility. So what we see here is some tricky words for spelling. So the word recognize can be hard because you might have seen this spelled with an S before, which is the way they prefer to spell it in the British English. I'm here in North America, so we like to put a Z instead. So that's why I have a Z here for recognized. So that could have been tricky. If you spelled it with an S, you are correct as well. Athleticism. This one's just a long one. I split it up as athletic-ism. So athletic-ism, like that, if that helps to say this cut sound. Up to you. But the way we pronounce it is athleticism. And this just helps you remember that this beginning is usually quite tricky. The ATH, people always forget it. And here at the end with the 2 I's, it sometimes messes people up. So splitting it up in these smaller bits helps you remember the letter order. These are all pretty small words, challenging. Challenging, you can split that one up as well if you need to, but it just comes from the root word challenge, which at a high intermediate level should not be very difficult. Agility is a less common word, so that one might be hard. Agility. It can be split up in this way if you want. Just to remember, this one's a little bit hard because this G and I actually make the J sound. Let's look at number 3. The players relied on him to take the crucial penalty kick because he was known for his precision. So this one does have 2 clauses. The players relied on him to take the crucial penalty kick, and then the other clause, because he was known for his precision. This first one can stand alone. If you put a period here, the players relied on him to take the crucial penalty kick. That would be perfect grammar. It would make perfect sense. So we can call that the independent clause. Over here, we're starting with conjunction because. And if you made the sentence because he was known for his precision, doesn't make sense because we're having the word because. It's showing that we're missing some information in the sentence. Nothing is explained well. So we call that the dependent clause. So because we have 2 different thoughts, one is independent, one is dependent. We have the independent first and the dependent second. So because we have the 2 clauses in this order, we don't need a comma before the word because. Overall, the spelling for a lot of the words is not crazy. Crucial might have been tricky because it's not as much of a common word. Crucial could help you memorize how to spell it. If you say crucial, because a lot of the times people either miss one of these 2 vowels there. And precision is another difficult word. So split it up into 3 bits. Pre-cis-yon. And number 4. Though the team had all the right equipment, they realized that improving their strategy was necessary to win. So for this one, we're starting with the word though, which is a conjunction. The team is the subject, had is the verb, and all the right equipment is the object of the sentence. Or not the sentence, the clause, I should say. They realized that improving their strategy was necessary to win. Now, right in the middle here, you have subject again, verb, and then that clause, which we've seen in other videos this week. Now, that clause is there to provide us more context, more information about the full situation. So, though the team had all the right equipment, because this is a conjunction, because if we put the sentence all by itself, though the team had all the right equipment, put a period here, that would not make sense. The grammar is not good. We're missing information. So because we need more information, we know that this cannot be an independent clause, so it is a dependent clause. Over here, they realized that improving their strategy was necessary to win. That was its own sentence. It would make perfect sense, and it could stand alone, so we can call that the independent. Now we see here that the dependent independent clause comes in a different order than it did in number 3. So because the dependent clause comes first and the independent clause comes second, now a comma after the dependent clause is necessary. So as far as spelling goes, there are a few tricky words. Equipment could be a tricky word. Equipment. This is the best way to separate it, I believe, because if you focus on EQU first, you're going to always remember that QU come together all the time. If you just sound it out, this is relatively simple. And now you're not forgetting the I. And meant is a common suffix, and it is exactly how it sounds. Again, for British spelling, I think a lot of British English users prefer to spell this word with an S. In North America, we use the Z. So if you did spell it with S, you'd be correct in that as well. I'm in North America, so that's why my spelling is with a Z. Then we have a that clause. And like I said, it's there to give more information that improving their strategy was necessary to win. And for the that clause here, we could actually drop this. So we could say they realized improving their strategy was necessary to win. That would make perfect sense grammatically. That would be fine. So for that clauses, you don't always need to include it. You can actually drop them if you wanted to, and the grammar would be perfect. So take it or leave it. It's correct either way. Strategy is a tricky word. Strategy, and I really like to split this part up because sometimes this G is kind of difficult because it does make the J sound. Necessary is a tricky word in English. Split it up like this. Necessary. And I like to split it up like this. You're focusing on the C, E here. Otherwise, a lot of people put the S here and get confused. And if you put an S, that's wrong. No S. Has to be C. Then in the middle, S, focusing on the ES. And now at the end, if you put SARY in a separate bit, then you're reminding yourself that since this S already exists and you need another one, there are two S's. And because there's necessary 3 S sounds, the first one is through the CE coming together, people get very confused with the number of S's in this word, and I almost always see an error in this word. Now let's look to our final sentence. He focused on building his stamina for future games. We have one single clause here. It's actually quite straightforward. Focused on. This is a very common collocation in English. So those two words always come together. Because we're using he, then we're going to use the possessive adjective his. So his is related to he there. So if you're using a subject and a possessive adjective, make sure that within the sentence they're consistent and they make sense, so the person's not going to be confused about what you're talking about. Stamina is a little bit of a less frequent word, so it might have been tricky. However, it sounds, or it's spelled exactly how it sounds. So you can split it up into smaller bits if that helps you. Stamina, or if you want to split it up and do stamina, it's up to you how you want to split it up. So that is a little bit of a breakdown of the grammar in each of these sentences and some spelling tips and tricks. Now, we do have some bold words. These are the vocabulary words to focus on. Let's have a closer look at these words. So we have the words agility, stamina, strategy, precision, technique, fumble, equipment, endurance, sportsmanship, and athleticism. These words are a little bit more advanced, but make sure you know how to use them. You make sure you know their word forms and the grammar related to using their different word forms, and you can use them in your own writing and speaking. If you use these in a proficiency exam during an interview, like IELTS, shows that you have a very advanced range of vocabulary, which is going to be good as long as you use everything correctly and pronounce it all correctly as well. Besides that, we are all finished for today. Thank you so much for listening. Please keep on practicing your English, keep on doing the best you can, and I'll see you next time. Bye.